Hey everybody, this is Joe, the Over 40 Model Maker here again. We're going to actually not have a review or an unboxing or anything like that. We're actually going to have a painting today. And today we are going to paint one of the Tyranids from the Space Marine board game. And there it is. Lovely Tyranid that comes in the box. Put it together. And so I actually tried to find a video on how to actually paint one of these. And going through the official Warhammer video, they had, I would say, 9 or 10 Citadel paints to paint this thing. We're gonna do it a lot cheaper than that because I'm gonna just use paints that I have around the house because A, I don't wanna go out and buy, almost $85 to $90 worth of paints for an army that I'm not even going to run or even play because I am a Necron player. I'm not a Tyranid, but I wouldn't mind having these for like a display piece or something like that. But again, I'm not going to spend a lot of money on it. So what we're going to do instead is we're going to go ahead and use just some paints that I found around at home. We're going to use this Wild Iris, and we're going to use a metallic purple paint. Because quite frankly, I don't have the paints that match what's, in the book or any of the official artwork. But again, these are your models. You can paint them however you want. Who's to say that there's not one that's got a checkerboard pattern? It's science fiction. You can make a checkerboard pattern Tyranid if you want. Again, these are your models, so don't feel embarrassed. So here's what we got. We got the two paints. We got the Tyranid. We've got paint brushes, and then I do have some Citadel paints. We're going to have Corax White. We're going to have Bugman's Glow for a base for the tongue, and then we're going to color the tongue in Corn Red. Now, is that exactly how we're supposed to paint these things? No. But again, I don't care. I'm just painting these things cheap. Now, first thing I did was I spray canned this whole thing in a very flat white because I don't have Wraithbone and I'm not going to go buy Wraithbone. So now that we got that done, so what we're going to do now is we're going to go ahead and take, sorry about that. Go like this. We're going to take our Wild Iris. And let's see, let's move all these to the side. And what I'll do is I'll intercut between steps just so that you're not watching me paint and stuff like that. So we're going to shake up our paint, and we're going to go ahead and we're just going to splotch a little bit here in our paint container. Now this is acrylic paint. These are all acrylic paint, so they should be water soluble and work out just fine. So I'm just getting the paintbrush ready here off to the side, dipping in water because my kids use these paintbrushes too and they don't really know how to clean them or keep them nice. So I'm just getting it prepped. Now, if I was to take this and just directly apply it to the model, it would come out very thick. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take some water and I'm just going to thin down the paint here. Very, very thin. Actually, I think I need a lot more water than that. I almost want to make it like a runny ink. Almost a runny ink. Maybe a little bit more. There we go. Just like so. Because we're going to paint this on the parts that are not I think that's even still too thick. There we go. Let's just do this. Okay. All right. Now, let's go ahead and we're going to paint everything that is not what's the word I'm looking for? Not the plates or the feet. Those we're gonna do in black. So when I get that all done, I will come back and continue on to the next step. Okay, now that it's dry, you know, depending on how thick you made it and how dry the air is, things like that, it shouldn't take too long to dry. So this is what mine looks like. And so now what we're gonna have to do is we're gonna have to cover the fleshy, bony parts here, you know, all the stuff that's in the purple. We're gonna have to kind of lightly dry brush that. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna end up kind of giving a white layer to this, but still kind of retain a little bit of the color. But then if you can see way down in there, there's like these little recesses. And we're gonna try to preserve all those. So we're gonna attempt that. And for that, we're just gonna go with a Corax white. Again, normally you'd probably do this in a Wraithbone, pardon me, but I'm not gonna try. And I'm just gonna tell everybody up front now, I suck at dry brushing. So this is probably gonna be the worst. Let's move my water down here. Let's move that paint there. This is probably gonna be the worst portion of the video because, again, I totally stink at dry brushing. I'm not very good at it. But again, A, my model, B, I'm not playing with these, so it doesn't matter. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna take the brush, and then we're just gonna take a little bit of that, and then we're gonna... Now, Corax White does have a little bit of a gray in there, which, you know, might make for an interesting thing. And now we're just gonna lightly dry brush. The points that are able to catch the paint. And it's coming out a little bit like that. Again, not the best, not the greatest, but, I just want to just paint these so that they're somewhat painted. So I'm not really looking for anything special out of this. Again, basically I bought this for the Titus figure. So again, I'm going to finish this up and then I'll come back at you and I'll show you how the whole completed process looked, okay? So I'll be back in a second. All right, everybody, let's see here. So now this is the dry brushed. Now there are parts that still have the purple showing through, and that's kind of what we want. But again, like I said, I suck at dry brushing. So hopefully this actually does a little bit better during the finishing up stage. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna do all of these, well, let's do this, all the spines here on the back. So with that, let's put that away. We're gonna go ahead and clean off our dry brush here. For a moment. And then we're gonna use just a here, and then we're gonna use we're gonna make it like a metallic purple. So, get this open here. Just gonna go and just gloop a small amount right there. Now we are going to thin it down quite a ways because it is kind of gelatinous in a sense. So we're just going to thin it and thin it and thin it and thin it. So it makes a nice thin layer. And we're just gonna do this. And I will go ahead and show you when it's all done. All right, so we finally I put 2 coats down, and how I did it was I went and brushed it one way all the way through with one, and then let it dry. And then on the second one, I went perpendicular to it so that any paint would fill in any brush strokes and then kind of even it out. And it does come out a lot cleaner, it does come out a lot nicer. Now, I did notice in the Warhammer video, they did take a color for like an edge highlight and edge highlighted everything. We're not gonna do that because again, I don't want to. So, what we're gonna do now is we're gonna do the tongue. And for the tongue, what we're gonna put on first is some Bugman's Glow. Now, we're going to be doing that as simply a base for the corn red that's going to go on top of it. So we're just going to gently put, and I don't know how good this has come on camera because I am trying to do this looking at the camera. Oop. That's all right, I'll just highlight over that. Yeah, another thing is don't be afraid to make a mistake because you can always fix mistakes every time. And we're gonna have to go inside the mouth just a little bit, right about there, yep. So we're gonna let that dry. So, we'll just do this all in real time. So I'll just wash that out, dry it on my towel here. Get my little Corax white again. Do that. Just the edge. And then we'll grind that in to the bristles. And then we'll just go zip, 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 zip. Okay, that didn't really work. So, take 2. We're just gonna put some directly on it, right about there. There. All right, that's good to go. Now, this shouldn't take very long to dry. I'll just do this. Now we'll put some corn red on it, like so. And we will do this very carefully also. We're just gonna grab just the slightest bit, and we're just gonna put it right over the Bugman's Glow. Because I'd be thinking that a menacing red tongue would probably scare friends and foe alike. And we'll just do that. Get as far into that mouth as possible to make the illusion stick. I think that'll work. Okay, now we'll just do the washing off the brush, Again, everything's going to be kind of in real time here. And we'll take our last brush, get it prepped. And what we're going to do is we're going to paint the end of the gun and all of the claws and the hoofs. I think that's what they're called, is hoofs. We're going to do that in some Abaddon black, just plain old Abaddon black. So we're going to just grab a little bit of it. Now, this particular pot itself, I actually have thinned down into the pot already. So then I don't actually have to do it. And it's worked pretty good. Haven't had to do the multiple coats or anything like that. Let's see, there's claw right there. And I mean, these things cover the model fairly well. We're gonna get this stuff back here, right about there. And we're gonna get this stuff right back here. I apologize that I'm not actually showing you all this stuff up close. It's just kind of difficult. We're just going to go ahead and do that. We're going to get this little claw back here. Both sides, top and bottom. This claw back here, both sides, top and bottom. And then we're going to get the hoof, because I think these are hooves. Me being from a ranch, I know what a hoof looks like. And then we'll just do that. Now, as far as the base itself is concerned, I'm just going to leave that up to you. You can leave it as is, or you can apply some scenery to it. Completely up to you. But as of right now, I'm going to call that done. So here is one Tyranid done. Doesn't look the greatest, but again, I wasn't shooting for the greatest. It's painted, it can get used, it's good enough. So with that, folks, I'm going to go ahead and say thank you very much for clicking on the video. If you've made it this far, I wish I could give you a prize, but there isn't any. Go ahead, leave comments down below of like how you painted your Tyranids or how the painting experience was. I love to hear about it. I do respond to every comment that's put on there, good or bad. If you want to subscribe or share the video with somebody else. Again, this is just painting models on the cheap. This is stuff I found around the house that I already have. That way you're not having to go spend tens and tens and tens and tens of dollars on paints for whatever reason. So with that, I'm going to say again, thank you very much for showing up today. And if it's your birthday, happy birthday, you handsome man. If it's your birthday, happy birthday, you beautiful woman. And we'll go ahead, and the next video is going to be painting Captain Titus. That's going to be fun. We'll see you guys next time. Bye.